Hi, my name is Chris Melnick, and I'm a realtor in Halifax, Nova Scotia. If you've watched the previous two videos, you'll know how property tax works conceptually and the details of the timing. In this video, I'm going to talk about looking at tax bills when viewing homes, what happens to your first assessment when you buy a home, and how the appeal process works. First, looking at tax bills of homes you're potentially interested in buying can be very handy. It helps you get an idea of what your bills may be like. But there are two main reasons why that bill is likely to go up once you buy the home and you're on your own assessment. The first reason is that the previous owner may have been on a capped assessment. As talked about in the previous video, a capped assessment can be substantially less than the actual assessment. If you want to check out to see if the home you're looking at was on a capped assessment, you can go to this website. I'll put a link in the description. All you do is you type in the address and it'll tell you the current assessment as well as the current taxable assessed value. If these numbers are the same, there is no capped assessment and the tax bill reflects the actual assessment. Whereas, if the taxable assessed value is less than the current assessment, it's on a capped assessment. To get a rough idea of what the bill will be like once you're not on a capped assessment, you can use this formula, which is the current property assessment divided by the current taxable assessed value multiplied by the tax bill for that period. And it'll tell you what the tax bill would have been if the previous owner was not on a capped assessment. That being said, there's no guarantee that the actual assessment will stay the same once you buy the home, even if the housing market is perfectly flat over that period. This leads me to my second point. Anytime a property transacts or sells, the Property Valuation Services Corporation launches an investigation into that property to ensure that the assessment is accurate by their definition, which is to reflect the market value of the home for January 1st of the year prior. This applies to your first assessment. It could have very well been the case that in addition to the capped assessment, the previous owner just got lucky with an artificially low assessment to begin with. After an investigation, the new assessment could very well go up to reflect the current values. Now I'll talk about appealing an assessment. When you're mailed the assessment in early January, you're given a month to appeal it. It's a fairly straightforward form that looks like this. The assessment for 2023 is supposed to reflect the actual price the home would have sold for on January 1st of 2022 using sales data from 2021. So if you're trying to give reasons on the form as to why your assessment should have been lower, you need to come up with a persuasive argument using homes that are similar to yours to show why you think your January 1st, 2022 value should be less. What won't be relevant is what the assessments for similar homes to yours is. On the website I mentioned earlier, you can see what your neighbor's assessments are. You just type in the street and leave out the street number. It could be the case that much better homes than yours have much lower assessments. But if your home's assessment is based on recent sales data, that just means that your neighbor's homes are mistakes. And the Property Valuation Services Corporation will not make your assessment into a mistake too. Although this could be the red flag that launches the investigation into your neighbor's assessments. If you're trying to argue that your assessment should be lower, you need to find actual sales data to support this. For the 2023 assessment year, I'd suggest looking at sales data for the last 3 months of 2021. If you're trying to appeal for no good reason, but just to see what happens, things could end up getting worse. When you appeal and you launch an investigation into your home, under the Assessment Act, they can walk on the exterior of your property within reason, look around and measure things. If they find an addition, a deck, a garage, or anything else on the exterior that they didn't know about, they can increase your assessment. So if you're ever trying to appeal, just make sure that you have the proper argument. Like always, I hope you've got some value out of this video. My contact information is in the description. Goodbye.